The first raindrops began to fall, just as Mara Quinn's last thread of hope unraveled. Her trembling fingers clung to the folder that held her medical reports, pages that had already rewritten her future: stage 3 lymphoma. She had entered the hospital whispering prayers for mercy, yet the world inside felt colder than the November wind outside. Harsh fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. A receptionist's keyboard tapped in steady rhythm. Behind the counter stood a doctor in a spotless white coat, her face expressionless, her tone clipped and bureaucratic. "Without full payment up front," she said, "we can't begin treatment." Those words cut deeper than the diagnosis itself. If you believe kindness can still mend what the world breaks, if you believe second chances still matter, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness. Every tale here reminds us that compassion still breathes, even in the unlikeliest hearts. Mara sat in her wheelchair, silent tears tracing pale paths down her cheeks. Her father, Harold, stood beside her, his rough, calloused hands trembling. He had already sold their family truck, his old tools, even the wedding ring that once belonged to Mara's late mother. Yet it still wasn't enough. "We'll come back," he whispered, his voice cracking. The nurse at the counter turned away, pretending not to see the heartbreak unfolding before her. As Mara wheeled toward the exit, she caught her reflection in the glass door, a tired woman in her early 30s, wrapped in a faded hoodie, a scarf covering her head, a ghost of the vibrant artist she had once been. They stepped out into the drizzle, Harold pushing her wheelchair down the empty driveway. Mara felt humiliated, as though she were leaving a place built to save lives, but one that had decided which lives were worth saving. She held the folder close to her chest, as if clutching it tighter might somehow change the truth inside. But what neither she nor Harold noticed was a small group of leather-clad bikers watching from beneath the overhang of a diner across the parking lot. Among them was Rex Dalton, a broad-shouldered man in his 50s, his gray beard damp with rain. Rex led the Iron Hearts Brotherhood, a local motorcycle club often mistaken for troublemakers, but those who truly knew them understood they had hearts bigger than their engines. As Mara's wheelchair bumped over a crack in the pavement, her folder slipped from her lap, papers scattering across the wet ground. Harold bent to gather them, and Rex stepped forward instinctively, helping pick up the soaked pages. His eyes caught one line: "Chemotherapy estimate declined, payment incomplete." When Rex looked at Mara, he saw exhaustion, fear, and quiet surrender. He didn't speak, just watched as she and her father climbed into their worn-out van and disappeared into the rain. That night, Rex made a call to his crew. They'd done charity rides and food drives before, but this felt different. "No one fights cancer alone," he told them. "Not while we're still breathing." The next morning, the hospital lobby buzzed with its usual cold routine, nurses rushing by, patients waiting, the same doctor flipping through charts without emotion. Then came the sound, a deep, thunderous rumble that shook the hallway. The automatic door slid open, and half a dozen bikers strode inside, boots echoing on the tile floor. Their jackets bore the emblem, Iron Hearts Brotherhood. Every head turned. At the desk, the doctor froze. "Can I help you?" she asked, trying to sound composed. Rex stepped forward, calm but commanding. "You already could have helped someone," he said evenly, "but you didn't." Before she could respond, Mara and Harold appeared. Rex had called them earlier that morning. Mara's eyes widened in recognition. "We're here to make sure this woman gets her treatment," Rex said, sliding a thick envelope across the counter. Inside was the full payment. Donations and money the Brotherhood had raised overnight, paid in full. Silence fell over the lobby. Even the nurse behind the counter stopped typing. The doctor hesitated, stammering, "Sir, we can't," but Rex cut her off, his tone unwavering. "You will, because every hour you delay is another life slipping away." Behind him, the bikers stood shoulder to shoulder, their presence heavy with quiet defiance. Security guards lingered uncertainly, unsure whether to intervene. Then something shifted in the doctor's eyes. A flicker of guilt, of shame. Without another word, she nodded. "Prepare the patient." Tears filled Mara's eyes as the nurse wheeled her down the corridor. The bikers followed silently, their boots echoing like a heartbeat of solidarity. As she passed the sterile rooms and glaring lights, Mara felt something she hadn't felt in months. Warmth, not from machines or medicine, but from people who refused to let her fade away. In the weeks that followed, the Iron Hearts Brotherhood became her family. They brought her meals, laughter, music. They painted murals in the children's ward and filled the halls with hope. Rex sat beside her often, sharing stories from the open road, while Harold, once hollowed by worry, began to smile again. Mara's strength grew, fueled not only by treatment but by kindness that refused to let go. Months later, when her final chemotherapy session ended, the hospital parking lot roared with the sound of engines. Dozens of bikers had come, revving in celebration. Mara stepped outside, thinner but radiant, her scarf replaced by a small beanie embroidered with the Iron Heart emblem. Looking at Rex, her voice trembled. "You didn't just save my life," she said softly. "You restored my faith in people." The doctor who had once turned her away stood at a distance, regret clouding her eyes. She approached and whispered an apology, but Mara simply smiled. "You can make it right," she said. "Just don't ever turn anyone away again." For the first time, the doctor nodded, truly listening. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness. Your support helps more people believe that compassion still changes lives. Before you go, comment below, "I still believe in kindness." Let the world see that love, courage, and humanity can still win. Because sometimes, the loudest hearts ride on two wheels.